Imagine you're pitching this massive 5-year business plan to your boss, right?
Oh, high stakes.
Yeah, exactly. Like really high stakes. You've got the slides memorized, your strategy is, well, it's absolutely flawless, and you know exactly what you want to achieve.
Right, you're totally prepared.
But then, as you stand there trying to explain, why you need this massive budget, you use one slightly clunky phrase.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's not even a totally wrong word. It's just a slightly awkward grammatical choice. And suddenly you see your boss's eyes just kind of glaze over.
Oh, I know that look.
Right. You sound like you don't fully grasp your own plan. So today, we're not just talking about grammar or vocabulary. We're really cracking this hidden, invisible code of how human beings express purpose and intention.
And it really is this phenomenal hidden architecture. We walk around every single day with these incredibly complex webs of motivation inside our heads.
Oh, for sure.
Like, we know why we do things. But the moment we open our mouths to translate those internal intentions into spoken words, we're relying on a very rigid, subconscious set of structural rules.
And if you break those rules even slightly.
Your brilliant strategy just sounds like a confused mess.
Exactly. Which is what makes our source material today so vital. We're diving into a really cool educational guide called How to Express Purpose in English. To, for, and so that.
It's a great breakdown.
It really is. So we're going to build a practical lesson plan out of this today. We'll map out the 3 core structures of intention, explore the hidden psychological logic behind them, and expose this massive conversational trap that even native speakers stumble into.
Oh, yeah, when they're thinking too fast, it happens all the time.
Right. So whether you're prepping for a boardroom presentation or just trying to clearly explain to your partner, like, why you bought a third coffee maker.
Which is very important.
It's essential, really. Mastering this hidden architecture gives you incredible leverage as a communicator. So, okay, let's unpack this. Because to understand the really complex stuff, like manipulating future outcomes, we kind of have to start with the most primal evolution of intent, right? Like immediate action.
Yeah, the absolute simplest, most foundational building block we have. When an action leads directly to a goal, well, human beings need a fast, economical way to express it.
Right.
According to the mechanics of the language, we use the word to, followed immediately by the base form of a verb. It is, honestly, the workhorse of human motivation.
It's the answer to the most basic human question, like, why did you do that? You ask someone, why did you go out?
And they answer, to post a letter.
Right. Or she called me to invite me to her wedding. It's just incredibly fast.
What's fascinating here is the sheer cognitive efficiency of this structure. Think about how clunky it could be if we didn't have it.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Our brains don't force us to say, like, the reason I stepped outside the house was because it was my current intention that I place a letter into the mailbox.
That would be exhausting.
Right. We strip away all that noise, we perform the action, and we attach the purpose with just one tiny syllable to invite, to post.
To warn, like we yelled to warn everyone about the fire.
Exactly.
Or even just explaining why something exists in the world, right? Like she has a bodyguard to protect her.
Mm-hmm.
I always used to think of this structure like a straight arrow, just pointing from A to B. But looking closer at the mechanics, it's actually more like a spark plug.
Oh, I like that. A spark plug is a much better way to conceptualize it.
Right, because you don't just point at the action, you ignite it. The word to is the spark that fires the verb. You pull the trigger with your first action, like yelling, calling, going out, and the spark plug instantly ignites the result. To warn, to invite, to post.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, that spark plug doesn't just fire off physical actions. It's heavily utilized to anchor abstract concepts to reality, too.
Wait, how do you mean?
Well, we use this structure directly after nouns to describe what a person can or should or must do with a resource, almost like it's acting as an adjective.
Oh, okay. Like driving around a crowded city looking for, quote, a place to park.
Exactly. The noun is the place, the resource, and its immediate purpose is to park. Or being overwhelmed at the office because you have work to do.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Notice how the spark plug turns the abstract into the actionable. Things like time, money, chance, opportunity, energy.
Right, they're just ideas.
Yeah, these are all concepts that just float in the ether until you attach an intention to them.
Like, I don't have time to wait, or they gave us money to spend.
Mm-hmm. My absolute favorite example from the linguistic breakdown is the concept of courage.
Oh, I saw that in the guide.
Right. Do you have the courage to jump, Courage is this entirely internal, abstract, emotional state.
Yeah, it's totally invisible.
But the moment you add the spark plug, to jump, you force that internal state to manifest as a physical action in the real world. It forces a state of being into a state of doing.
The courage to jump.
Yeah.
It's just so evocative. You aren't just sitting in a vacuum being courageous. The intention demands action.
Beautifully put.
Which, this brings up a really interesting friction point.
Mm-hmm.
If to plus verb is our spark plug firing an action, what happens when our purpose isn't in action at all? Like, what if in our evolution of intent, our goal is simply to acquire a resource?
This is where we hit the most common, subtle trap in conversational English. And it's a massive collision between how we think about objects and how we think about actions.
Yes, the grammar trap.
Mm.
Okay, so the golden rule from the source material is this. If your purpose involves a noun, like an object or a concept, you use for.
Right.
But if your purpose involves an action, you stick with to. Let's do a little role play with a classic errand scenario to show this.
Okay, let's hear it.
So, say I need dairy for my coffee. It is completely 100% correct for me to walk out the door and say, I went to the store for milk.
Correct. Milk is a noun. It is the resource you are acquiring.
Right. And it is also completely correct for me to say, I went to the store to buy milk.
Also correct, because you use the verb buy. Both sentences communicate the exact same internal motivation.
You're out of milk, you want milk, you're going to the store.
Exactly.
But the moment you mix them up, the moment you say, I went to the store for buy milk.
Oof.
Yeah, anyone listening, especially in a professional setting, is going to experience this mental record scratch. It sounds universally wrong to the native ear.
It really does.
But wait, we know exactly what the person means. For buy milk is entirely understandable. So why does it cause such a visceral, negative reaction in the listener's brain? Is it just like snobbery over arbitrary rules?
No, it isn't arbitrary at all, actually. It reveals how our brains process reality. The language is actively forcing us to distinguish between obtaining a thing and performing an action.
Okay, how so?
Think of the word for as a pointer to a destination. When you hear the word for, your brain immediately opens a slot, expecting to be handed an object, a concept, or a person.
So for milk, for my career, for you.
Right, a destination. Now think of the word to as our spark plug, our engine. When your brain hears to, it braces for movement. It expects an action.
To run, to buy, to negotiate.
Exactly. So when someone says, I went to the store for buy milk, they are handing the listener a destination connector, but shoving an action engine into the slot.
Oh, wow.
The brain's logical code breaks. The gears literally grind because you promised a static object and delivered a moving part.
Okay, that is fascinating. For is the destination. Right. To is the engine.
Yeah.
That makes an incredible amount of sense. But hold on, I have to challenge this.
Oh.
Because I can think of a massive loophole that I use every single day.
Let's hear it.
I'm in the kitchen making dinner.
Yeah.
And I hand my kid a specific tool and say, careful, this knife is for cooking. Cooking is an action. My brain is doing an action, but I just use for. Could I just grind the gears?
It sounds like you did, but you are instinctively using a brilliant linguistic hack. You're using a gerund, which is a verb ending in ing.
Right, gerund.
Yeah. In English, when we add ing to an action like cook, we freeze it. We turn the moving action into a static concept, a noun.
Oh, so cooking isn't the physical act in that sentence, it's the conceptual category of the tool.
Precisely. You essentially took the engine, put it in a box, and labeled the box a destination.
That is so cool.
That's why this knife is for cooking works beautifully. But if you want to use the raw moving verb, you have to swap back to the spark plug and say, this knife is to cook food.
That distinction is wild. It's no wonder people get tripped up when they're speaking quickly under pressure.
Yeah, you have to categorize reality as either a destination or an engine in milliseconds before you choose your connector.
And we see this pop up constantly in everyday questions too, like the classic what for structure from the guide.
Yes, what is this button for? You are asking for the destination of the button.
And the answer naturally flips back to the engine. It's to turn on the light.
We even blend them together when the intention gets slightly more complicated. You can set the destination first and then fire the engine all in one breath.
Oh, right, the hybrid structure. The formula is for plus a person or thing plus to plus a verb.
Yeah, this is where we start building multi-layered intentions. You're assigning the recipient of the purpose before stating the action.
Like telling a colleague, it's important for you to practice. Or picking up a box and saying, this is too heavy for me to lift.
Exactly. You identify the destination, for you, for me, and then hit them with the spark plug to practice, to lift.
It's an elegant sequence.
Yeah.
Destination locked, engine fired.
It really is.
Which is great for immediate physical reality.
Right.
We've mastered the immediate spark plug of 2. We've mapped the destination of 4. And we know not to shove an engine into a destination slot.
Right.
But here is where it gets really interesting. What happens when your purpose isn't just an immediate action?
Oh, this is the heavy lifting.
Yeah. What if your goal is to manipulate an entirely new, complex situation that hasn't even happened yet?
The spark plug just isn't enough anymore.
No. If I'm trying to alter the future, or if my current action is meant to affect someone else entirely down the line, a simple 2+ verb is too weak. It just can't carry the cognitive weight of time travel.
We need something heavier. We need a traffic control system.
Yes.
And in English, that system is the phrase, so that. This is the complex connector we deploy when we step out of the present moment and attempt to engineer the future.
It's basically a bridge.
Exactly. And the mechanics of this are governed by 3 very specific psychological maneuvers.
Let's break those maneuvers down,
Yeah.
because they show just how much cognitive chess we're playing when we speak. The first rule for using so that is all about risk mitigation, right? Avoiding negative situations.
Yes. We use it with words like won't or wouldn't.
Okay, think about the psychology here. You aren't just driving toward a positive goal. You are actively looking into the future, identifying a potential disaster, and creating a present-day barrier to stop it.
Like saying, leave early so that you won't be late. Or, I whispered so that I wouldn't disturb anyone.
Try using the simple spark plug for that. I whispered to not disturb anyone.
I mean, it technically conveys the point, but it feels flimsy. It lacks authority.
Yeah, so that creates a structural wall. I performed action X in the present so that negative consequence Y is permanently blocked in the future.
Perfect way to put it. Now, the second role flips from defense to offense.
Right, capacity building. We use so that combined with can, could, will, or would to guarantee or enable a future result that isn't possible yet.
In these scenarios, your immediate action doesn't actually achieve your final goal. It merely creates the environmental conditions for the goal to survive later.
Okay, like she's studying so that she can get a better job, or speak slowly so that everyone can understand.
Exactly. Studying doesn't just magically hand her a paycheck. It builds a foundation so that the paycheck becomes a reality.
You're setting up a chain reaction. The first action is an investment. So that is the connective tissue, and the final goal is the payoff.
It's like setting up a massive line of dominoes.
I love that analogy.
Right.
You knock over the first one specifically so that the 500th domino is mathematically guaranteed to fall.
Which brings us to the third maneuver. And honestly, this one blows my mind because it involves incredible empathy and theory of mind.
Oh, the multi-person dynamic.
Yes. This is arguably the most cognitively demanding structure we use for purpose. One person does something in the present to enable a completely different person to do something in the future.
Like, I gave her my number so that she could call me. Or, I made a map so that you wouldn't get lost.
This raises a really important question about how we view agency. When you use this structure, you're bridging the gap between 2 independent human minds across time.
Yeah, it's wild when you stop and think about it.
You have to imagine someone else's future timeline, anticipate their needs, create a tool in the present, hand it to them, and trust that they will use their own agency to fulfill the intention.
I am literally altering your reality before you even get there. I draw the map now, I hand it to you, so that your future domino, like getting hopelessly lost in the woods, never falls.
The 40 chess involved in that one tiny phrase, so that, is staggering. We use it every day without thinking, but it requires us to project a hypothetical reality and explicitly engineer our current behavior to match it.
It's the ultimate expression of human foresight. Like, animals can act with immediate purpose, the spark plug. They run to catch prey. But only humans can act in the present to manipulate a hypothetical reality for someone else in the future.
That's entirely true.
So, bringing this all together, what does this actually mean for you listening right now? How do you take this deep dive and apply it the next time you walk into a strategy meeting or try to explain a complicated life choice to a friend?
It means you now have the ability to hear the invisible architecture of your own sentences. You aren't just throwing words at the wall anymore.
Exactly. You can feel the mechanics working. You know when you're firing the immediate spark plug. I need a pen to write this down. The engine. The action.
You know when you're pointing to a destination, acquiring a resource. This is a device for measuring temperature.
And you know exactly why you can't shove an action verb into that destination slot. No more for buy milk.
Right. And most importantly, you recognize when you're stepping into the command center to manipulate the future so that
I am pitching this budget so that our team can scale next year. Or I'm wearing a coat so that I don't freeze later. You're building a bridge across time.
once you understand the distinct purposes of the spark plug, the destination, and the traffic control system, you eliminate the friction in your communication.
Yeah, you stop confusing your listener's brain with mismatched grammatical gears. And your intentions translate perfectly from your mind into theirs.
Which leaves us with a fascinating, slightly provocative thought to chew on.
Ooh, I like where this is going.
We've spent this entire deep dive looking at how language is a tool used to express the purpose that already exists in our heads. But we have to wonder, does the tool itself change the user?
That is the ultimate linguistic question, right? Does the language we use shape our actual sense of intention?
Right. Think about it.
If the English language forces you to subconsciously categorize every moment of your life, like forcing you to separate objects from actions in milliseconds.
Forcing you to project into the future and logically map out consequences so that just to be understood.
Does mastering this architecture actually make you a more intentional person?
It's a great question. Does speaking with precise, engineered purpose physically train your brain to act with more precise, engineered purpose in your daily life?
It's definitely something to ponder the next time you find yourself setting up those conversational dominoes.
Yeah.
Until next time, keep diving deep.